Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a long time since I've posted a video. I've been busy working on stuff, just haven't been really filming it. Shop's ever evolving. I always come up with different ideas on where to store things, whatnot. Recently, we did a rental project in the house, and this cupboard was left over, and I found that it fit perfectly underneath the old workbench that I had. So I added some storage, but then I had to find places to put some of the other things that I had in here before that were underneath the bench. One of those things being this stack of blocks that I use underneath my jack stand when I'm working on my Jeep because my Jeep's quite lifted. This corner's still the battery charger section, and I keep some of my car wash stuff there. All my extra extension cords and whatnot. My ratchet straps. I've got 2 bench grinders now. Made a pivot forward out of a Pontiac Sunfire wheel bearing. And so I have just located with pins, so I just pull these out. Try and do this with one hand here. And then I just have to rotate it. And then just like that. Takes just 2 seconds. It'd be a lot quicker if I was using 2 hands. So I have a coarse wheel and a fine wheel, and then obviously a buffing wheel in my wire brush. I'd take the guard off of this side because it wouldn't clear the buffing wheel. That way it lets me have 2 bench grinders in the space of 1, so it saves me a lot of space. I also have a pivot for my belt sander. That's a Jeep JK wheel bearing, and then there's the wheel bearing from the Sunfire. So it worked out pretty good. Most everything else is the same on the walls. I got some more like decoration stuff. I like throwing all kinds of decorations and whatnot up on the wall. That's just storage. I got some of that's, I need to find another place to put it, but like all my painting and drywall stuff's in that tote. Special carpentry tools, that's like stuff for doing crown molding and cupboard doors and stuff like that. I made that extra overhead shelf. That's all like cans of paint and drop cloths. Stuff that I don't need on a regular basis, so I don't mind having to go grab a ladder or stool to grab it. Everything that's on the top of this shelf I can just pull down. Standing on the ground, I'm quite tall, so it helps. Tools, again, I still have all the same toolboxes. They're pretty full. I'm to the point where I don't really need a lot of hand tool stuff. It's more I want to get like stationary tools. Like I have a plasma cutters on my wish list. I want a metal cutting bandsaw really bad. Not quite sure where I'm going to store those yet, but so I've got like a few extra specialty stuff. I call this I drop the bolt tools. That's like all your magnets and stuff. But then I call this one the O box. So this is all for like thread repair and whatnot. So I've got like damaged lug nut removers. My partner and my mother both have vehicles. Ford ones have those chrome capped lug nuts that are a pain in the ass to take off sometimes. So I bought those specifically for their vehicles. And then like I got helicoil kit, all that stuff. Nut splitter now, my rethread kit. I've had to use this a bunch of times, and those damaged bolt removers, they've saved my bacon. I'm glad they're one of those things that I don't use a lot, but when I need them, I need them. Otherwise, tools for the most part, nothing really new that way. I've got, all these drawers are still pretty full. So, these are all like snap ring pliers, and I've got spark plug pliers. I got CV boot pliers now too because I had to do CV boots on my Tahoe. I got lots of extra tin snips. I kind of condensed some other toolboxes. Up here I cleaned out a little bit, still like lights and some PPE stuff. I got some more vice grips. These are all vice grips, and I know I have a lot of vice grips, but if you look closely, they all have different shaped ends for grabbing onto different situations. That's why I have so many. And they're not, a lot of them aren't even vice grip brand. They're cheap, but I like having the different shaped ends. It makes a big difference. I have these Easy Red pliers now. I've used those a few times. They were super handy. Just some other like cheaper ones. Again, I'm not a mechanic. This is just my home garage. I work on my own stuff. Screwdrivers are still the same. So this is pretty much the same. This is a new purchase a few months back. I got it at a plumbing section of a hardware store, but it's a flexible driver, but it's the end, if you can flip it, it's 5/16 and 1/4 inch, so it's for doing hose clamps, and I really like it. It's handy for underneath the sinks and stuff because it's flexible, but I like that it has the bits. I'm not just using a flathead screwdriver all the time. These are all just still my torque wrenches and whatnot. If anybody has any questions about anything, just comment down below and I'll answer. My ratchets kind of got a little out of hand, but again, it's kind of like with vice grips. I like having multiple different ones for different situations. So like I've got a longer 1/4 inch one that's a straight, and then I have the flex head one. And this is a swivel head one. And a lot of these are just off Amazon, so they're cheap. This is another flex head 3/8. This is an indexing flex head 3/8. It's also extendable. It's my dad's old Snap-on. I don't use that one much. It's more in here for sentimental value. So regular old 3/8. These ones, this one, those are both Napa ones or Ultra Pro. Have these Kasibi ones with the orange handles. I like those for when I'm working out in the cold because then my hand's not sticking to the ratchet. I've got my long flex head 1/2 inch. This is another Ultra Pro one from Napa. The Napa ones are just 60 tooth, but I still really enjoy them. I use this a lot on suspension stuff. Then I've got stubby 3/8 for working under dashes or tight places. Then I have a flex head stubby 3/8. I could have used that on the transmission. I use this little tight one as a bit driver for working on dashes. This is another swivel head one for good for tight spots. Another swivel head 1/4 inch. This KD Tools one, I don't use it very much. This is my old Westward. It's probably like the oldest ratchet in here other than that Snap-on one. I have this composite one, another one I was just trying out because I like that it's for in the wintertime, my hands aren't cold. Then all my extensions and whatnot, I've got lots of extensions, but in my organizer here, the ones that face down, those are straight. The ones that go up, those are a wobble extension. Some of them are wobble. This one here is like a wobble plus. It's got the little, you just click it down all the way, it won't move. And like my driver handles. So I do have a lot of ratchets. I genuinely do use all of them though. Like I said, the Snap-on I don't use much just because it's more for sentimentality, but all these other ones, I use them on a regular basis. I like having different ratchets for different things. This is all my metric sockets. I've got these flexible Torx ones. I got to get a little socket holder for those. I always keep some extra 10 mil deeps just because I found them other sets. But I got all these other like deeper e-Torx now there, and these are deeper e-Torx. Those are just cheap ones, but you know, this is a pretty full drawer. This is all metric. And this is my SAE. Obviously SAE not as common these days, but I do work on some small engine stuff for my rototiller, my lawnmower, my snowblower, and I have an old Dodge half-ton that's like my work truck that is SAE. So I do need SAE tools for all that stuff too. And then for wrenches, I still have all the same wrenches. I picked up some Husky ones that are in the back there, just bigger sizes for my Jeep. I do have 2 of everything because oftentimes I'm finding I need a wrench on either end. These are still my specialty ones. Most of these are metric. These are SAE, everything else in here is metric. And then I got my SAE wrenches again, 2 sets, and some randoms on the side there. This big one I use for trailer balls when I have to train trailer hitches. Still have all my pry bars, my impact sockets. So I have SAE in the back, my metrics in the front. These are Westward. Those are Westward. These are Matrix from PD Mart in Canada, just cheap ones. These are Mastercraft. And then I picked up these swivel 1/2 inch drive metric ones. And I've actually used, you can see this one's been used a few times when I was working on my Tahoe. Those bigger ones are for axles and stuff. It's my hammers. This is like specialty stuff, so like a compression gauge. There's obviously a ball joint. I have everything labeled in case people are boring stuff. I have a drawer now just for pullers. I got more pullers. So I've been doing more of that stuff. So this isn't as full. I got this contour gauge for making things now. That's still all just consumables and pipe wrenches and stuff and files and hex keys. It's all organized, very organized. Like all my, this is just like miscellaneous and like tire stuff, and those are like pick scrapers, clip tools. That's oil change stuff. So there's some new stuff, some of it's old stuff. There's rivet gun down there, body hammer stuff. I didn't go through all the drawers in that other one, but it's all like air tools and like I got quite a few air tools. It's pretty full. All my brake tools, Dremels, stuff like that. I do have a lot. Like I said, I'm just a homeowner guy. I'm not a mechanic, but I work on all my own vehicles, friends' vehicles, building projects, working on the house. I do metal fab for metal art. So I got 2 welders. There's my old arc welder. There's a MIG behind there. And here's like extra automotive tools for, so the diff spreader, it's a hole saw kit. That's a big hammer, slide hammer kit. That's like extra consumables for like O-rings and stuff, and like grinder discs, and there's extra acid brushes. There's all my recip blades. I try and keep everything organized. Those are all my commonly used tapes, just have them hanging out so people don't have to go through cupboard doors all the time. Caulking, all that household stuff. Those containers are just for like mixing paint and stuff. My screws, you know, extra saw blades there, saw blades there. So, you know, again, it's organized, but I'm not trying to keep too much junk. But and then this is all like my fluids for topping up vehicles, extra stuff for like extra gloves and parts for my Jeep, and it's all like my chemicals and stuff for everything. Zip ties, fuel, some extra Jeep parts. You know, so a bit of everything. That's all stuff, and we're doing a few weeks pulling the engine out of my half ton because it needs a new rear main seal, and the price of the gasket set for the full set was so cheap that it made sense to do the whole thing. So yeah, it's just nothing's really changed. The people who've seen my videos before. Got a new vacuum. That's just a used household central vac, but it reaches the whole house, or sorry, the whole garage. And then I'm working on setting up my surround sound, so I got the nice big boom booms. The neighbors can hear all the music. I brought my old TV out here, so it's a smart TV now, so I don't have my laptop. So I cleared up the bench nicely. Tools, this is all like my home working tools, I guess. So there's some sanders and stuff that are new. And this stuff all gets used on a regular basis too. All those power tools, and same thing with these ones down here. I don't like keeping my things in, the ones I use often, I don't keep them in blow molded cases. The ones that are only in blow molded cases are my brad nailers, that boss stitch. Then I have a Makita hammer drill I maybe use once or twice a year. And then that other black one is a roofing nailer. I got just like drywall mud, and that's my little parts cleaners full of Varsol. I keep my table saw under there, and then just all my oil change stuff. So, you know, it's pretty organized. This is the next project, is trying to organize this. There's some fishing stuff up there that I don't want in here. I want this just to be tools and working on stuff. And then this cluster. Some of that stuff's got to get put away somewhere else. That's my roof dolly. Haven't taken my hardtop off for a few years with my Jeep, but that's what I put it on. And then I'm using the bottom for like extra wood storage and whatnot. The snowblower's only in here for the winter. And then that's a fold-up bench I use for woodworking projects. It's double piano hinge, so it folds out. And then I use it as an outfeed table for my table saw, my miter saw, and also there's a build table or painting stuff. You can tell by all the paint that's on there. This is all just metal storage for odds and ends and scrap. I build art projects, so it's all like just random pieces. They're all labeled. That's my daughter's still her chaos corner. Some of that's going to get tossed here one of these days, and then I keep above extra wood storage and trim and whatnot. Those are just some simple shelves I made to give me some extra storage above my garage door. I'm even contemplating attaching some stuff to my garage door. Make some brackets for stuff that I don't use on a regular basis, but they could, be screwed to the door. I haven't decided if I want to do that yet or not. Keep my roof rack and my bumper rack for my Tahoe in the corner too, just because I don't want them outside rusting. But yeah, that's my shop. It's not very big. Again, some people who've subscribed to my videos or seen my stuff before, some of it's not going to look very different, but it's a constant evolution. I'm always looking at different ideas and where to put stuff, how I can make brackets or hang stuff or store things and purge, and it's never ending, especially when you have a small work area. You've got to get creative on where to put things. For instance, those two squares underneath there, those were actually the drawers for the drawer system I made underneath for my Jeep, and I redid them. So I took those, added some caster wheels, and now they're full of scrap metal parts. But then it just tucked underneath the stairs. They don't take up any room. So, and this is like where my hardware stuff is. So I really have to go, next time there's a big bolt sale, I'm going to go stock all these up. And then this old toolbox is just full of metal art scrap stuff. So you can see I like my label maker. I have everything labeled because I don't know, I just like being organized. I can't work in chaos. And then this way too, if I have somebody who's out here helping me or they need to borrow something and I'm not home, when they come for it, they can find it. So that's that. So if you have any questions or comments or even maybe some ideas or something you saw in the video that you could maybe suggest on how to tweak something or maybe store it better or whatever, please comment below. Thank you.